What a jolly horrid day. Oh, yeah. Horace, listen. Yeah, I found this brass cylinder in a ruin. Do you recognize it? Oh, yes, I do. It's part of that old music box over there. I'm no good with devices, so I've never been able to figure out what was going wrong. But how did you find it? The box hasn't played in years. Insert the brass drum that you found in progress. You laboriously wind up the mechanism and then release. As the cylinder turns, its needles pluck the teeth of a steel comb, and a tender twinkling music begins to play. It's a haunting tune, somehow familiar and ethereal all at once, like a lullaby from time's own beginning. You feel a shiver run up your spine, and the hairs on your arms prick up. Behind you, a porcelain teacup smashes on the floor. Metcalf gazes into nothingness, his eyes half closed, his breathing is slow and gentle as if he's sleeping. Good. Quick as a flash, he jerks awake and grabs your wrist with surprising strength. No. Frantic eyes dart around the room before coming to rest on you. His breathing is sharp and shallow, like he's just survived a fight. You blooming idiot, you've ruined my cover. Caxton Frost, I presume? Frost glares at you. You think I want to remember any of that mess? I did this, you nincompoop. I erased my memories. It's the only thing that's kept me hidden from the Clockwork King for all these years. The only thing's protecting Samuel. And now you've gone and ruined it all, you blinking artichoke. That's interesting. It seems I still can't swear. You seriously brainwashed yourself to not swear? In my Dark Star days, I was known for having a rather dirty mouth. All just compensating, of course. Still, making Horace more prissy seemed a useful addition to my guise. How did you erase your memories? What, as if it's hard? Perhaps you're aware that the king alters people's minds. With an old book on memory magic purloined from the Duchess, I had little trouble back engineering the tech. I called in a favor that the machinist inside the Machinist Guild to create some false records, and voila! Horace Metcalf was born, except now you've killed him, you prize-flipping dimwit. Listen, never mind all that. I need your help. Help? You blunder in here, you set fire to my life, and you want my help? Go hang yourself. I'll have my bally hands full escaping the kingdom, and, oh yes, never seeing anyone I love ever again. Vila Kalos is trying to save the world. Frost's brows rumple as he listens to your explanation. So it's begun, Vila's great work. Has she already gone to the Underlands? Yes, but we can't get to her without you. Cradle, you're sure of that? I thought it was only a myth. Shakes his head. Not my problem. If you found me, it's only a matter of time until the king finds me too. I must put my affairs in order and depart immediately. You helped Vila build her army. How is she not your problem too? He snarls, because I never was a Dark Star. I was a spy. As a young man, it was my misfortune to become a hero of the Clockwork Kingdom. My aptitude with ancient Emberian machines was prized, and I was easily dazzled by conditional acclaim. Sorry, I had to mute the sneeze. You must understand, the future used to be so bright here. People lived well, and we truly seemed on the brink of a better world. I wanted to believe that more than anyone. So when the king gave me a chance to truly serve my country, I accepted. I posed as a disgruntled... I'm not sure. Offering my services to Vila Kalos. Together we spent the next 8 years unlocking the secrets of the Emberians, all of which I secretly relayed to my sovereign. Having been somewhat of a thespian in my school days, I confess I found the subterfuge exciting. However, one does not wear a mask for so long without it changing one's face. As news from the kingdom grew darker, I came to trust Vila over the king. He promised that we could be the ones to build Elysium using powers from before the world reigned, and until that blooming mutiny, I believed her. What caused the mutiny? Discontent had long been brewing over frayed relations with the Union, and anyone could see that Vila was growing more reckless and paranoid by the week. Her plan to drag us all to the Underlands was merely the final straw. What'd you do in the end? I fought for Vila that day, but my faith was broken. I'd lived through enough purges and coup d'etat in the king's early years to know a tyrant when I saw one. Still, my mission stood, or so I thought. As it turned out, my next orders would be my last. The king wanted me to steal Vila's treasure map, to betray the only people I'd ever felt truly at home with, and deliver untold power to an increasingly callous despot. So what was my alternative? Betray my homeland and hand that power instead to an increasingly cruel and unstable outlaw? It was an impossible choice, so I did what any coward would do. I ran away. My only mistake was to hide my old memories instead of destroying them. A sentimental lapse I shan't repeat. What did her map point to? Something more valuable than gold, or so she said. An ancient artifact with the power to turn the world upside down. I was skeptical, but evidently the king was willing to burn my entire mission just to get hold of it. Why'd you choose those ruins in particular? Because they were my home. I grew up in progress amidst the machinery that was meant to liberate us all. As to how many of my family escaped, I can only speculate. Fitting grave for a failed patriot, wouldn't you say? And we ain't got time for this. What's done is done. Regardless, nothing has changed. I still lack the courage either to help or stop her. You've destroyed my life for no good purpose, and now I shall bid you adieu. You shut your mouth for one fucking second. His eyes narrow. I beg your pardon. How dare you? Are you completely ignorant about anything outside your cozy little life? Of course I'm not. My memories from Horace are cloudy, but he wasn't blinking stupid. So you know summer's been abolished and nobody can get anything to eat. Well, wait, what? You've been living a dream, Frost. The real world is fucked. Confound you. Don't you think I know? That's why I wanted to be Horace. The world needs you to be Frost. Now, please. There's a long silence as you stare at each other. Would you perhaps like a moment to get your breath back? Shut up. Frost lets out a long, deep sigh. You're right, of course. I've been hiding from the fear that my better world will never come to pass. No matter who's in charge, it always goes wrong, and yet I cannot bring myself to truly give up hope. At least for Horace, things were simple. You can't build that world by magic or force. You do it by helping the people you love. Perhaps there's truth in what you say. It was always so easy to defer to other people's dreams, to trust the impresario and play the role I was given. Now the stage is burning and half the audience are dead. All I wanted was a quiet life with Sam. Well, I don't need to know all the answers to know that's still worth fighting for. I can at least make sure Vila's treasure doesn't blow up the world and figure out the rest as I go. However, that is not enough. I want a full Inquisition pardon. I want Union citizenship for me and Samuel and his family. I want 5,000 coins in silver bullion and another 5,000 in fully assignable, non-revocable promissory notes from the Usurers Guild of Riova. Done. Good. Given the stakes and my skills, I think it's a bargain. Rather a bargain. Vila always planned to hole up at the blinding light. Things went pear-shaped. Since she's now in the wind, I would guess you've already captured the fortress. I'll make my way there. But first, Frost closes his eyes, taking a deep breath. First, I must go say goodbye to Sam. I'd rather hope we might get married, perhaps even petition to adopt. I suppose it'll have to wait. Yep. Boy, I hope the things I promised you weren't a lie. I really don't know. I mean, if they are a lie, it is what it is, but... You are not the worst you are not the best person I have lied to in this playthrough. Ah, damn it. Okay, I'll let you know when I'm back where I need to be. Oh, the godlets come back over time? Interesting. I don't need them or the money I get from them, though, at this point, so... I guess it's so I can't soft lock myself into everyone hating me like I did in the early access. Are you the little busted manor house I'm supposed to be looking for? Or are you? I've been in you. Good night, guys. Hi, guys. Leave me. Sorry, I knew I was going to get into a conversation right here, and so you had to go. For many years, this manor gleamed with opulence. Wiccan blood paid for its walls, and the spoils of battle filled its rooms, as it belonged to Admiral Kalos, who rose to prominence in the God War. Yet happiness bloomed here with her sister Isabet. Vila's formative years were joyful as they played under the watchful eye of their mother. But our folly is to assume our privilege, once attained, will endure. A single spilled candle can raise a timber built town to the ground. Something similar happened here. Oh, okay, you're Isbet. Got it. Excuse me. That's tragic. For Vila, her world came crashing down. In later life, she would recognize the price others paid for her privilege. But to that child, she had simply lost her home, her family. Well, at least now I think I know your name. Oh? Oh. You won't mind if I take your things, right? You don't need them anymore. Vila and her father were away when this manor was ablaze, but Vila's sister Isabet and their mother were burned alive. Isabet was a prodigy. From a young age, Vila and Isabet would stow away to explore and bury in ruins, much to their father's ire. Isabet could pull apart that ancient wreckage and put it back together, working as if it were new. Had Isabet lived, she would have thrived. I can see her now as one of the most respected archaeologists of the Sky Realms, or maybe you're her mother. Vila never recovered from Isabet's death. In every arcane tome, every forbidden volume, Vila would search for some way to bring Isabet back. But though the Sky Realms teem with creatures who make a mockery of life, myself included, Vila never found an answer. For the grammar of cipher magic contains strict rules. The mortal principle, long studied but little understood, prevents a body from being revived. People can be plucked from the jaws of death, or their lives extended unnaturally, but for the charred remains of Isabet, nothing can be done. Couldn't a god revive her? Vila thought as much. She even went as far to capture one, imprisoning the poor thing with chains of void steel in the blinding light. But its powers, though incredible, were limited. It could only save a single living soul from near death. Were you to give it a corpse, it could not create life from nothing. Could Isabet be revived as an endless? The ritual that created the endless has been repeated on rare occasion, but it requires a living subject. The same applies for ghosts like myself. We are imprints of trauma, an echo of a mind created in a single terrifying moment, but without a living body, not possible. So this is the thorn in Vila's heart. She nods. I think it was Isabet's loss that drove Vila to quit the Union Navy. With her father an admiral, she could have risen to the very top, but she just didn't see the point of it. So she took her father's dream and inverted it. The dark stars were born, its black star motif a cynical mockery of the symbol of the apostatic union. She smiles. But we've had enough storytelling for one day, eh? There is an island with an airship cove on the western edge of the Endless Realm. Meet me there when you're ready, and I'll continue my tale. Okay. Hey, you got some stuff growing in the backyard here I'm just gonna deal with. I'm just picking up money at this point for the love of the game. Okay, so now I've got to go to the Realm of the Endless and talk to her again, and then I'll probably have to go to the Clockwork Kingdom and talk to her again. See you there. Alright, and we're here. I'll be with you in a second. I want to pilfer your things first. That'll be the last one that I need, right? Ah. Then Thosic Bomb. This is where it all started, the mercenary outfit known as the Dark Stars. Vila, Jack, Basalt, and Orlaith, just the three of them in a cave with a rickety sloop barely skyworthy. On one of their first jobs, they found me, or rather the real me, before I looked like a rubbish painting. Three of them damn near killed me. Wait, you fought, Vila? That's right, stranger. They'd been hired by a Riovan noble to round up Wiccans in Hallowshire, back before the Union was here in full force. So I woke up one morning with Orlaith's sword at my throat in her full Emberian armor. It was quite the shock. Though, not as much of the shock I gave her, a bolt of pure electricity surging through all that metal. And so we fought, me and my godlet versus the three of them. I almost escaped, seeing Vila fight something else. Usually I can scry what someone plans to do, but Vila's thoughts are bristling with possibilities. Before I knew it, she was behind me with a dagger to my neck. I thought I was dead, but she simply asked, "How would you like to be a merc?" And so they brought me back here to their hideout, and 3 became 4. You have to understand, stranger, I'd spent my youth cowering from the Union and their agents. My parents taught me all I know of Wiccan magic, how to hear the language of cipher in all things, but when my parents vanished, I was left with no one. When I told Vila my stories, she wept and embraced me. It had been a long time since I'd felt the touch of another person, and looking into her eyes was like staring into the void. Normally, stranger, I can read people, catch a glimpse of what's to come, but Vila, her future was a tangle of infinite possibility. She was unreadable. It was intoxicating. Those first few years with the Dark Stars, it was the first time I felt like I belonged somewhere. My comrades didn't fear my cipher. They relied on it. You never mentioned you were a Dark Star. Well, that would be very mysterious of me now, would it? I have a certain reputation to uphold, being a ghost and all. Besides, as far as I'm concerned, the Dark Star company that I knew is gone. That it? Oh. In those early days of the Dark Stars, Vila took contracts from anyone, the Union, the Wiccans, even outlaws, but it was about the cause, not the coin. She couldn't stand the thought of being like her father, whose military campaigns had wrought so much upheaval. So if a contract smelled fishy, we turned it down and went hungry. We didn't mind. But when we took a job, nothing could stop us. It wasn't long before our numbers swelled and we outgrew this tiny cave. Soon enough, everyone from the lowest ruffian to the loftiest noble knew of the Dark Stars. So what went wrong? To pay the new recruits, Vila had to be less scrupulous with her contracts. I clashed with her at times. When she slew the minor god Cernan, I flew into a rage. I never wanted the blood of a god on my hands. But it was when she found that damned Emberian key that things got out of hand. There's an island drifting to the northwest of the Clockwork Kingdom that contains the wreckage of the Black Goblin airship. Meet me there and I will finish this story. Alright. Do a location? No. So this is a Dark Star ship, huh? Tell me how this happened. Pile of Junk was once the most fearsome pirate ship of the Sky Realms, the Black Goblin. Merchants from Puria to all Asfra feared its volley of cipher-inscribed cannonballs. The Union Navy paid us a fortune to headhunt its captain. In the end, we got the coin and the ship. Few dared cross the Dark Stars after that. How'd you win the ship? We were going up against a galleon with a tiny schooner. We had 2 guns, they had 20 per side. By anyone's measure, it was suicide. But I've always had a certain knack for foresight. I knew they would commit their starboard, so we had the better of them. A Before they knew it, we had one of our guns pointing straight at their rear. That was not any old gun, it was one of Caxton Frost's cannons. A single blast from that thing tore straight through the whole ship, setting it ablaze. In the confusion, our boarding party was on deck. We were 8 against 100, but with a few words from the Duchess, they found their swords to be awfully heavy. Orlaith cut through swaths of them, carving a path to their captain. By the time Vila had her sword to his neck, he had soiled himself. The ship was ours, and that night we got so plastered from their stores of rum, I accidentally exploded a silk slug, that poor thing. So what went wrong? After the Black Goblin came the Blinding Light. A mercenary company with a galleon is impressive, but with a God War fortress, none could best us. But it was around then that Vila and Orlaith stumbled upon a map deep in some ruin. It told of the cradle buried far below in the Underlands, which held the power to change everything. Vila was always ambitious. We thought she really could build her fantasy, a heaven of her own making. But now she was speaking of something else entirely. She wanted to become a god, change the very fabric of reality. Yeah, but to what end? She claims she would right all the world's wrongs, balance the scales so the common folk can live like nobles and rulers can no longer lust for war. So what happened next? Crew was split. Some were eager to follow her to the Underlands, especially if it would make them even more rich, but many of us thought she had crossed into madness. Her fame had twisted to infamy, and even the Inquisition now considered us criminals. From infancy, I had learned to listen to the language of the cosmos. Cipher flows through all things. Its grammar and syntax weave through our bodies and dreams alike. To change those rules for me would be a bigger heresy than slaying 1,000 gods. So when Orlaith raised her sword against Vila and stirred the crew of the Black Goblin to mutiny, I was willing to spill my own blood for the cause. And spill it I would. In truth, I knew the Black Goblin stood no chance against the God War fortress. The Blinding Light's guns tore through our hull in moments, leaving us sinking towards the clouds. Through the smoke and chaos, I saw Vila board our ship. She was furious. Her and Orlaith were like sisters. She couldn't take the betrayal. Through the haze of battle, I saw their blades clash, and I saw Orlaith, her defense broken, hurled from the side of the ship. And then a crash like I've never felt before. The ship had run aground. When I came to in this very spot, Vila stood overhead, staring right at me. I was bloody, wounded, but Vila just turned and walked away. It was at that moment I was born, this spectral echo of my former self. I tried to scream, I tried to cry, but I had not yet learned how to coalesce into a body, shape. So I watched my corporeal body, my former self, lie there, barely clinging to life. I watched the Inquisition agents arrive, and I saw her scream as they dragged her away. I watched as they threw her in a cell, and their instruments of agony tore into her flesh. "You're the lady in the Iron Maiden!" I watched as her will broke and she spilled every secret she knew. I watched as they destroyed her. Does that mean another version of you still lives? Of course, stranger. It's only in those old fairy tales of the Middle Ages that one has to die to become a ghost. In fact, you're well acquainted with my corporeal self. She winks. I'm sure you can figure out who. So is it revenge you're after? When I saw Vila standing over me in that moment of my creation, it was not hatred I felt, it was heartbreak. For I loved her, stranger, I loved her dearly, and suddenly I saw all those possible futures I had scried. All those joyous fantasies just melt away. The Vila I saw was the Vila I had always feared. So no, stranger, I seek no revenge, and I hold no hatred in my heart, if I can be said to have one at all. I just want this all to stop. I want to see her smile again. Thank you for the story. I'm glad you listened, stranger. Soon enough, you'll face Vila again, and now you may have one single advantage over her. You may understand her. Okay, to the Blinding Light. I wonder if I can say something interesting to the living incarnation of that ghost. Hello, Duchess. How are you and your daughter faring? Ellen's hand gently moves as you approach. You think she looks content, though admittedly you know very little of sentient hands. Ah, it's good to be out of the sky realms again. One can get frightfully bored spending eternity in dusty old tombs. How are you settling in? I've just about finished transposing my collection of essential grimoires, not a bad spot for them, eh? I must admit, it's exciting to see all these mortals scurrying around. There's an urgency to mortal life that's been lost to my kind. I realize now, since giving up this life, I've missed it. Okay. Where are the others? Oh yeah, not you. You're not part of my crew. Not exactly. Drat, blast, sugar, blinking, blooming, flipping, fudge. Still having trouble cursing? Alas, I fear the muse of filth has forsaken me for good. But enough of that. Are you bothering me for a purpose, or do you truly value your time so cheaply as to spend it on blooming chit-chat? I want to see how you're settling in. Oh, like a louse to an armpit. Who the fluff do you imagine restored this fortress in the first place? Given my abrupt departure from the Dark Stars, I suppose it's nice to be finishing the job. If only these dashed Union cretins would stop trying to assist me. As it happens, my father helped build these monsters back in the God War. The wooden parts are Lundalese, but the guns, plumbing, and nearly everything metal was made in Cordova. He used to put me to sleep by reciting components and assembly procedures. That explains a lot. Touché. Well, I'm glad you're feeling at home. I wouldn't go that far. Will that be all? Yeah, that's all I need. Actually, one moment, if you please. I wish to, that is, it behooves me, dash it all. Let's not prevaricate about the bush. You were quite correct to scold me back in the kingdom. The word for what I was doing is wallowing, specifically in childish rage and self-pity. He pauses, apparently unsure what to say next. Is thank you perhaps the phrase you're looking for? Confound it. What else would I be trying to say? Log off before I regret such wasteful sentimentality. Have a good day, Caxton. Hi, Orlaith. Ah, the blinding light. You know, I thought I'd never see this place again. Are you settling in? Makes my skin crawl seeing Inquisition agents scurrying around. Keep thinking they're gonna grab me and throw me in a cell. But if siding with this lot's the only way to get to Vila, I suppose I'll have to get used to it. Oh. Good day. Hi. My, haven't you been busy? All the former Dark Stars have returned, she cackles and coughs, just like old times. Together we've conceived a plan. According to Orlaith, Vila has fled to the Underlands, and what's more, she knows where. You will take the Dark Star criminals as your companions. You will pursue Vila. You will not fail. What's down there exactly? Centuries ago, the Emberians built an empire of metal and magic in defiance of the gods. It stretched across the world's surface and humanity prospered. He spits the word. But 400 years ago, the Whirlwind blasted that empire to dust. Only the Sky Realm survived. All that's left down there are cursed ruins haunted by ghosts and patrolled by mechanical horrors. The very air is poisoned with a thick miasma. Traversing that place will be difficult. But I have the utmost faith that you will die nobly for our cause. You may even succeed. Okay, how shall we do it? Caxton has finished repairing the blinding light. We can launch a small cutter airship on an expedition to the Underlands. But first, I will let you do the honors of activating the blinding light. Go to the main control panel and set the alert for battle station. All very good. Where is that? This? Oh. I didn't realize it flew. And we're officially out of dry dock. Hi, guys. If you made it this far, I thank you for your time. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, subscribe, etc., etc. And I hope all of you have a good rest of your day.